Well guys, we're back. We've taken a few days to go find this bolt. We luckily found it at a farm store because it's metric. It was really hard to find. Like we couldn't get it at like a Home Depot or Home Hardware. We found it at a farm store because they have a lot of diesel engines and diesel tractors and all that stuff. Yay, we found it. We're just gonna try it out, see if it fits and if there's any stripping actually going on inside.
Hey, I'm Krystal, and this is Alex. And this is our fur baby Dexter. Together, we bought a Tanzer 26 and are currently sailing on Lake Ontario. We are complete beginners with no previous experience. Subscribe and join us as we learn how to sail and fix up our boat. For those of you who missed our last episode, our motor was causing a lot of water in the bilge. We thought we found the culprit, a broken bolt and some loose shaft seals. We made our repairs, ran the engine, and found that there was still a lot of water getting in somehow. So today, we're going to drill a hole in our engine.
Alex thinks he knows where the water is coming from. The bolt for the thermostat is stripped, so we're gonna try to replace that and see if that's what it was.
There was definitely a leak coming out of either the bolt itself or because it wasn't clamping down on this housing. And you can see there's a gasket between this, and that gasket is what stops liquids coming out. It was either coming out through the bolt for the thermostat housing, or it was coming out in the back because the bolt wasn't being able to keep this tight onto the gasket. And then there's also another gasket down here because there's like 3 parts to this engine block. There's this main part here. This is like the front part. And then you can see that there's the gasket there. So if I was to take this off, there'd be a rubber gasket all the way around, and that's what the same concept with the thermostat housing. That's what stops like leaks coming out. So in order to get to this one back here, because there's this part, and then there's this back part, and then there's another gasket that goes all the way around. And this basically connects your shaft and stuff, and this is like your main engine housing. So to get to that gasket, I would need to take all of this off. It's a big job, a big job. One that I don't feel like doing. And if I did feel like doing it, which like might eventually be a case that I have to, we're not sailing for a long time. At least the engine's out of commission for a long time. So I hope it's not that gasket back there, and I hope the majority of, if not all, the leak was coming through this bolt or the thermostat housing itself. Which if that's the case, that's great, but I don't know for sure. So here's the old bolt. As you can see, the only last little, I don't know, ½ an inch or whatever is that what actually was threading in. The rest of this is pretty much does nothing, but it's all malformed and stuff, so it wasn't getting a good grab. So when the engine was vibrating, it would slowly come loose, and that is for our thermostat housing. So the water would be going through the thermostat, and then it would slowly be seeping out of the back of the gasket because this wasn't able to keep the gasket tight. The new bolt in, you can see the difference in the threads. It should be able to keep that housing really tight onto the gasket, and I'm hoping that the gasket's still in a good enough shape that it stops the leak and I don't have to take all this stuff apart. And hopefully that's the only spot. So here's the strip bolt, and it was going in here, and it wasn't keeping this thermostat housing because this is the thermostat here, so the water would pump through and like cool off our engine, and it would basically just leak out the back because this wasn't able to keep it tight onto the gasket that's down here. So I'm hoping once I get that new bolt in, crank it down, it'll reseal it back up, and the gasket should hopefully still be good, and it'll stop the water leak. At least stop that water leak and see if there's other water leaks, and then I can find those and then keep going and keep going. All right, washless lock. So I'm gonna start it with my fingers. The bolt itself is tightening, so that's a really good sign. At least the inside of the housing doesn't seem stripped. How tight is this one? It's really tight, so this one should. We'll try that, but honestly, that the last little bit didn't feel as good as what I would have liked it to feel. I feel like it might slip if I do it anymore. And this one is like really tight, so I should be able to go at least to the same torque as that. And I don't feel confident that I can.
Do you think it might be stripped on the inside then?
That's definitely a possibility. Yeah, it doesn't really want to tighten up any more than that. I'm going to take it out and see what it's doing to the thread. Yeah, it's starting to bend the thread.
Oh no.
means I need to thread a wider hole into there. Basically get a bit that is the next size up from this bolt, and then re-thread in a different size, and then get like one size up for a bolt, which sucks. Unless this can hold, I don't know. I'm gonna try and put it in, and like it might hold. We're supposed to go on a trip with a buddy boat tomorrow.
Hopefully this is at least enough to get us through the weekend, because yeah, we had plans to go buddy boating with 2 other boats, which we haven't done before, and we were gonna go and anchor 2 different anchoring spots, and anyways, we just have never done that before and we're really excited, so I really hope that that can happen.
Whoever did work on this engine last time over tighten the bolt or put the bolt in on like an angle, or just the vibration from the engine, but like that's pretty unlikely. I think it was either over tightened or threaded in wrong. That's why you always want to thread bolts in with your fingers, so you can like kind of feel it.
This is a metric bolt too, so the threads are a lot smaller, so if you probably put it in and tighten it with a smaller thread, it has way less room to give or wiggle around.
You wouldn't feel it as much as a coarse thread bolt. And there's different variations of the coarse thread and fine thread, and it's all based on the distance from one thread to the next thread.
Are you wishing us luck, bud? Yeah. He wants to go sailing too.
Is the washer somewhat snug? I don't know, it should be tighter than that though. I honestly think I have to retap it. But that sucks because I also don't have like a retapping kit. I'll have to ask. What do you at work? Might have one.
Alright, well I guess we'll try to start it up and see. Wish us luck. Hopefully there's no more leaks other than just that one spot, and hopefully that bolt will tide us over at least to the weekend until we can retap and fix it properly. It's what? It's not coming from the gasket?
Not the big one.
Okay.
It's coming from the thermostat housing.
Which is where we fix the bolt, or no?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's good then. So at least it's not the gaskets, because that would have been a way harder job and way worse to do. So, so is it still leaking water?
Yeah.
How much water is leaking from there?
It's still a decent amount.
Is it loose again?
Pretty much.
Oh shit, really?
It's the vibration from the motor, right? That's what I figured might happen.
Yeah. So I guess we gotta retap it then. There's air coming out as well, which means that it's not tight enough. So Alex just took off the washer just to see if it can grab deeper. How's it going?
Not good. You can hear like the air coming out of the gasket itself. It's leaking from the side of the gasket.
Oh, because it's not tight enough.
I'm hoping. Well, that's obviously a factor because I can't tighten it down, but like now that it's been leaking and shit like that, like the gasket might be fucked too.
Well, we just started noticing water in our bilge the last couple times we've motored. It's not like it's been severely bad for a long time. Oh.
Pooched.
Try to stay positive. We'll retap it and everything will be perfect. The gasket will be fine. Nothing wrong with it.
Retapping's not easy.
Oh, it's gonna be easy.
Gonna be great.
It's gonna be so easy. We're gonna retap it. We're gonna tighten it up. It's gonna be mint.
Great.
It's gonna be mint. There's gonna be nothing wrong with the gasket. The motor's gonna be like brand new. Send us the vibes. That's the vibes right now that I'm sending out. We went to Canadian Tire. We picked up a rethreading kit.
A tap and die kit, but we've specifically got just a tap set.
And we went to Davis & Davis, which is where we've been getting all of our bolts, because they actually have like metric and like weird bolts because they work with tractors and weird machines.
Diesel industrial stuff and everything. It's in Napanee, and highly, if you guys are ever in Napanee, highly recommend it. Awesome guys there.
It's a local company, I think, right?
Yeah.
So they've been great. It helped us. They found us some bolts. We've just been going through trying to figure out what actual size we want. What?
You're not getting attention? Yeah.
Oh,
you think the GoPro's getting attention? It's a freaking camera, bud.
Dexy.
It's a camera, and you're on it.
Hi, baby. Anyways. Stop. Anyway, so we've just been going through trying to figure out what size we're actually going to go ahead and use, because basically you have to get a big enough size up for your next bolt to make sure that all the threads from the inside is grinded out, so that way you can rethread completely new threads.
If you're using imperial, you got to go one size up in imperial, and if you're using a metric, you got to go one size up in metric. And it's for what Krystal said, like whenever you re-drill the hole, you want to make sure that you take out all the old threads completely so that you can rethread new threads.
Wish us luck. We're about to attempt to retap our motor. We're gonna be drilling
into the engine block
a hole, well, a new hole,
yep,
into our engine. It's a little bit scary.
Trying to get like no metal shavings in there at all. Like this is definitely not best case scenario, but it's got to be done because it's leaking, and this is the only way to do it. And
we don't have like $600 to pay someone to come and do it, if not more money.
Plus I want to learn how to do it myself anyway.
That's
like this is I'll need to know how to do this definitely. If something breaks in the middle of the friggin' ocean, I'll get out my tap set, I'll rethread it, put the bolt in again, we're on our way.
So we'll link all of the equipment that we used in the description.
Yeah.
And that way if anybody else is needing to retap bolts to their motor, you guys know what we used. And yeah, wish us luck.
Thumbs up.
What do you need me to do?
Hold this bolt.
Hold this bolt. We're taping it to make sure that we don't go too far down into the motor.
So I don't drill a hole through our engine block.
Step 1. You ready?
So to help collect some of the metal shavings as I'm going into them, put just a little bit of cutting oil on your drill bit. It basically just helps the metal shavings stick to it and not like drop into there as much, and it also like makes you cut easier and reduces heat and stuff like that. You know, when it binded a little bit there, that's when it actually started like cutting the actual engine block. The rest was like the thermostat housing.
So when you were drilling, you didn't feel any tension until you just got like right to the very
I felt some tension going through the thermostat housing, but it's probably aluminum, so it wasn't much. And then I eventually hit the cast iron engine block, and that's where the actual threads that I need to be made in there.
And you didn't feel like it was that much.
And my original tape mark was up to there, but that's going off the point, and you're not actually cutting until the highest point, which I guess would be this side. So I think I need to go more like just another 16th, which makes sense because I didn't really feel it grab until that last 1/8,
right,
which would only probably be like 2 threads. Fun fact, just so you guys know at home, you only basically need the amount of threads for whatever spacing it is for the thickness of the bolt. So since this bolt is only 8 millimeters thick, you only need about 4 threads to grab for you to get the maximum amount of tensile strength that you're going to get from it. Because any more than that and the bolt would theoretically snap off before the threads broke. Since this is a thicker bolt, you would need maybe 5 threads instead of 4 threads because it's a size up, because this is like a 10 mil and the other one's an 8 mil.
Right.
Make sure that this is really straight.
Holes all drilled, ready to start the tapping. Alex is oiling it up right now.
A good way to check to make sure that you don't drill the wrong size hole is to get like a piece of wood or a piece of metal. Metal would be better, but obviously on the boat all we have is an old cutting board. So drill a hole in it and then you can kind of test the tap with that. I'm not going to put it through because I'll get like wood chips on it again, which we've already done. And then you can take the bolt and see if it works.
And whose sweet idea was that?
I don't know.
It is our motor, so like if we make a mistake, at least then we can make sure that we have the right one on the wood first before we're drilling right into our motor.
Yeah. Works great.
Are you gonna tap that?
I'm gonna tap it. Just getting this out.
You threaded in so far, bud. I think they get the point.
No, they needed to see it well threaded. Same thing with the drill. You want to start it off as straight as possible. The starting is like the most important part. And then once you get your first few threads in there, it should just like kind of stay straight on its own. And another thing I read online is to do about a half turn or a full turn and then back it up, and it'll do kind of what it did there. It'll kind of break the shavings off and keep them out of the hole. So I'm gonna do another 3/4 of a turn, back it up, go again, another 3/4 of a turn. And it's much easier to stay straight now. It's pretty much staying straight by itself. And after reading that online and doing it firsthand, I would definitely recommend doing that, because I can see the shavings, which you guys might be able to. I can't tell what you guys can see on the video, but you can see the shavings popping out, and it makes the resistance a lot easier for the future turn. This is actually going really nice.
You happy?
Well, I'll be happy once the bolt's in and the leak's done, but I'm happy for now. This set actually works pretty good. I just got this from Canadian Tire, and it was only, I think, 40 bucks. It's not the die set, it's just the tap set, but you'll probably never do a die on anything. That might be it though. Okay, now let's take it out. So that's why it's really important to put cutting oil, because it saves the teeth on your bit, but mainly it keeps as many of those shavings as you can on the actual bit itself instead of inside. But after you're done tapping your hole, you want to take your tap out and clean it up really good and put oil on it again and kind of re-thread it through like 2 or 3 more times until you basically don't see any shavings again, with oil back on it, because there still will be stuff in there and it'll clean it all out and pull it out for you. Yeah. Just be careful when you are putting it back in though, like make sure it feels really nice when you start it, because you don't want to re-thread on top of what you just threaded.
So this won't re-thread it by accident, like at all?
If it can. That's why you want to make sure that your first spins are really nice, like they feel smooth, there's no resistance at all.
How do you know that
oh, you'll know.
You'll actually messing up?
You'll feel it.
You feel it?
You will feel it, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the bottom again, which I am. And then just take her out. Like you should be able to turn it with, like you're seeing here, just use like your fingertips. It should be really smooth. We can see how it is still picking up some shavings.
When your besties show up with coffee when you're having motor problems, thanks.
Good vibes over here.
The stress level's going down now that we have our Timmies.
Yeah, I don't even care anymore.
Thanks, girl.
No worries.
Ready?
I think so.
Is it gonna go?
It's gonna go.
This is the bolt.
The washer on this is kind of big though, so I'm afraid of it hitting the thermostat, but we'll see.
That is a huge washer.
It's
Are you sure it needs a washer? The washer's thick.
So again, same thing I said before, you want to just like make sure it goes in, well, and not drop it. Make sure it starts really nice.
It's starting nice. Is it the one?
Oh, that's the one right
Is it? Yeah.
We'll see. It needs to get into this, right? Like the threads all through this don't mean anything. Oh, it was nice. I think that's it.
Is it it? Is it tight?
Oh, freaking.
Did grab it?
Or grabbed it. I grabbed it like I grabbed your butt.
Don't say that on camera. I think we fixed it. Okay, so now we just have to turn the motor on and see if we're getting any more water coming in. Hopefully not.
It's gonna be great.
I said to Alex when we found out that it was all stripped and we had to drill a hole, I was like, it's gonna go mint. We're gonna drill it. It's gonna be perfect. We're gonna have no more leaks. Positive energy.
Excited about the thick paper straws. Normally they're just like little thin on the inside. You can't even like trying to get stuff out.
Maybe we should have good luck Georgie press the start button for us when we do it.
Plus,
Get her a special touch.
Mint. That's such an English saying, so I'm rubbing off on you.
Mint?
Yeah.
Saying mint?
Yeah.
That's like Alex's thing. I didn't know that was an English thing.
English thing, yeah.
That's awesome. We're basically half English.
We're going to hang out with you all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, get your butt crawling out there.
So you're gonna put this in, turn it one click forward, and then once that light comes on, then press the start button towards me. Yeah. So like turn it. Yeah, like that. No, that's okay.
And then this?
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
It's definitely a lot better than what it was before.
Is it still leaking?
Still leaking.
No!
I'm gonna take the washer off and see if I can get like a better grab.
No!
But it's definitely like way better than what it was before.
Okay, well it's good
We
with me.
can go sailing anyway.
What did you just do, bud?
All I did is took the washer off to see if maybe they could pull a couple more threads to get it a little bit tighter.
Alright,
I doubt it's gonna do anything, but it's worth a shot.
let's try it out. Ready? You could literally like cut your throat. Yeah, well you shouldn't be doing that.
It's a lot better. That even helps.
Well, there's a belt that runs to like turn the motor and he's in there and it's like right beside his fucking neck.
No, I think worst case it might grab like a couple of my hair and rip it out.
Oh my god, Alex, seriously, I just want to throw up.
Oh, I definitely not recommend it. I would never let you do that.
Jesus. No, oh, but it's okay that you do it.
It is.
You're gonna give me a
I think I'm gonna clean it up and then put that. No, I'm not.
Okay. Oh man, it's still recording. You totally just did.
What you could be doing is taking all that.
Our boat is totally trashed, and this is like the only time you guys have really seen the full interior of our boat. But there it is, our trash boat.
Only a couple things.